Hello and welcome to Level Up Your Talents Abroad, a series of inspiring interviews of expats where we uncover through their stories what talents they have developed. We are exploring the behind the scene because too often we only see the end result of an expatriation, but we're missing out on the process, what it really takes to get where they are today. I'm your host, Angus Lundy, and before we dive in, don't forget to register to our live Q&A with the participants and follow us on our LinkedIn page. All the links are in the description. So in this interview, we are going to Spain, and we have the pleasure of welcoming Marylou to this series. Hi, Marylou.
Hi, Anne. Hi, everyone.
We are thrilled to have you here today. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us and exploring what it really takes to level up your talents abroad. So, first, to give us some context, could you please tell us more about when did you move abroad, and also can you tell us what are you doing today?
So I moved in 2017 in Madrid, in Spain. So it was just after my master in my business school, Neoma. It was 8 years ago. And now I'm working for the bike industry in a human resources role and in a company in Spain.
You were looking for a job before graduation and then you move, or you move to Spain and then you look for a job. How is it?
Yes, I was looking for a job during my last month of master. So I found an internship in fact, because it was difficult to find directly a job. So I did like a end of master internship, and I find it directly in France. So when I arrived in Spain, I had already my internship was ready to start.
Okay, I see. So, why did you decide to move to Spain? What
Yes.
was the thinking process behind that decision?
In fact, already did an internship some years ago in Spain, in Madrid as well. So I already knew the city. I enjoyed the city, the experience there. So it was not 100% new for me. So I wanted to come back, and also a big reason was also that my partner was living in Madrid and working in Madrid. So for me, it was easier to join him because I was finishing my study. So I decided to directly join him.
So, how did you start this first year? Like, how did it look like? What did you do concretely when you land in Spain, in Madrid?
So I directly start my internship because I like arrived, and 2 days after I started. So it was
Mhm.
like a direct start in the professional life, I would say. Um, of course, I had to complete all the administrative task, paperwork that you have to do when you arrive, open a bank account, register to the National Health Security. So it was starting my professional life, doing all the administrative paperwork that you are obliged to do, and start to take habits in the country.
So basically, you didn't have time to think. Like you
No,
arrived and directly 2 days later, you started to work.
yes,
So this first year abroad, I imagine like usually when we go abroad, very often we imagine something and then we land. It's really there is a gap between the reality, what we are actually living, and what we were imagining. So, what was for you the biggest challenge you faced in the beginning?
yes. I first it was really to when I arrived to make from scratch my social life, because I had to meet new friends, to meet people, and I think until then, as I was a student, it was always easy because you have people from your university. It's easy to meet people. But when you arrive in a city and you are working, it's a biggest challenge, I think. It's a challenge when you move to the same country, but it's an additional challenge maybe when you move abroad because from one side of my personality, I'm kind of introvert, so it's tough maybe for me to approach people in a sense, and also because in another country maybe you have some cultural gap, you lack of cultural references, so to participate in the conversation, sometimes you are completely lost. You know, they are talking to you about some politician, some movie, some singer, and I have no clue about what they are talking about. So it's sometimes difficult, you know, to just participate in a group when you are introvert, and also when you have maybe not all the references. So it was
Yeah.
for me the biggest challenge at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine because, as you said, like when you are in a school, by default, you have people around you.
Mm.
So it's easy to connect and you have the same cultural background. So you can share the same jokes and movies and everything. So you're part of it.
Yes.
But for you, it was really a double challenge, the cultural one plus making an effort to go meet the people because you didn't have people by default around you.
Yeah.
So how did you find this the first connection? How did that happen?
I think it took some times because I tried some things. I tried to go at sports, to go to maybe language exchanges or something like that. So it was not working every time. So I tried, and I think with some a lot of effort, maybe and time, it happens. Also, when I had a job experience, when I met a lot of people from the same age than me, and we made a group also of friends. So it was one part of effort, maybe, and one part of luck, I think.
Okay. Okay, but you create the opportunity.
Yes, I think you are obliged to because you are not in your country, so you are not your family, you have not your friends, so you are quite of obliged to go out of your comfort zone and try until you you success, I think.
Exactly. Especially for, as you said, you're an introvert. And so it's not something like supernatural. You have to get out of your comfort zone and go for it. And It's it's really a determination because you say you try, and then it happens. So it also requires commitments, like to really recreate your life abroad.
Yes, and
Okay.
maybe be patient also.
Also, exactly. Yes, because maybe the first person we meet is not gonna be
Yes.
a friend. You never know, right? It's always a surprise. What is the surprising challenge that caught you off guard over the years?
I think the challenge I was not expecting was maybe the feeling that I was missing things in France. I was missing birthday, family dinners, and as I said before, I just took the decision really quickly. So I was not maybe thinking about all this challenge that can happen. So maybe it was something I did not expect at the beginning to feel like, oh my God, I'm missing things also.
Yeah. That resonates a lot with me because I remember for the 30th birthday of my friend, I was in Shanghai at that time, and my friends were in France. They were celebrating their 30th birthday, and I was in
Mm.
Shanghai, and I was like, oh my God, I'm missing that. And it was so important. So I decided to take 4 days. I mean, 4 days,
Mhm.
like I flew Thursday evening and then arrived in France on Friday. Party was Saturday and then flew back on Sunday. That was, but I make a surprise. No,
Mhm.
nobody knew I was coming. That cost me. time and money, but it was worth it. Definitely worth
Mm,
it.
good decision.
So that's true. That's true. You have to be aware that some moments you will not be there.
Yes.
It's true. So now it's been 8 years. You are you are in Spain, and so this challenge that you have at the beginning, I mean, if you're reflecting on it right now, so how do you think you actually overcome these challenges?
As I said, with some effort and maybe just with time, a lot of time, this challenge came more affordable because I met new people, I met friends. It took time, but at the end, like everything can happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Everything falls well into place. And
yes,
on the flip side, what were some pleasant surprises?
yes, I think a good surprise was really the kindness of people in Spain, but everywhere, on the administration, on the doctor, on the company. So it was really encouraging because when you arrived, maybe you have some difficulties with the language still. Maybe okay, you don't know what exactly to do. So the fact that people are really smiling at you, encouraging you, you can ask your questions. So it was really much easier in my day to day to start living there because everyone was so kind, so that it was really smooth to start living in Spain, I think.
Yeah, when you have the positive vibe around, that
Yeah.
definitely help, right?
Yes.
If we talk about the cultural differences, I mean, the cultural differences today might be normal to you, but at the beginning, how did you leave these cultural differences in your daily life? Is any like one specific story you would like to share with us?
Yeah, I think for me the main differences here is that maybe people have different way of socializing because maybe in France will more invite people at home, to have a dinner, and in Spain everything is on the street. I mean that you meet with your friends in the restaurant, in the bars, in the street. So the street are always full of people at any hours of the day. So it was a different way because maybe I was proposing plan that were not matching with the habits of people in Spain. So I think for me it's the main difference. And also something I noticed that we see a lot of old people in the society in Spain, like group of old people of friends that meet together to have a drink, to play cards, and we see them more, I think, than in France. That maybe they are more in their home, at their home, and in Spain they are really integrated in the society. So it was for me something that was surprising for me when I arrived.
So really, the streets are a place, a living place. It's not,
Yes.
the streets for like in many countries, this is the way where you walk
Yeah.
to go from point A to point B. But what you're saying here is actually you're just hang out.
Yes, and you have like families, everyone at the restaurant, like the grandfather, the children, and everyone is at the restaurant. So it's really a different way of living, I think.
Looking back on your experience, is there anything you would have done differently?
Yes, maybe because when I arrived in Spain, I had like an internship, so it was a temporary solution. So I was focusing maybe a bit more on my professional life, and I would have put maybe more effort in developing, as I said before, it takes some effort to developing the social life. So maybe I would have put more effort on having my habits in Spain, making more activities, and not so much because I was stressed about I have to find a new job, and it was maybe I was focusing only on the professional way, and I would have dedicated more time to also other things that are really important to feel settled, as you said before.
Yeah. So having more balance.
Yes.
And what have you learned about yourself on this journey?
I think I've learned that I don't give up easily, because on these 8 years in Spain, I had periods without a job, so without incomes. So it was difficult, I think, to stay here. And finally, I managed uh, to find solutions, and now I'm still here. So I think I was not aware that I can uh, just be start again and be resilient, I think.
So this period of unemployment, how does it look like in Spain? Do you have help? How did you bounce back?
It was a difficult moment because to find a job, it was the pandemic, during the pandemic.
Okay.
So there were no job opportunities. So I just decided to wait because it was impossible to find something. Um, but yes, I think in abroad maybe you are feeling more stressed because you have no other solution. You know, you have your bill to pay and you have to flat to pay also. And also, yes, I had like financial help from the government. But yes, it was also new for me because you are in another country, you don't know how it works. But it was an experience.
It is. And you start, it's during these ups and downs, like you're
Mm,
experiencing the country system and you
yeah.
see if it's working well or not. And we have seen in other interview, like in Dubai, they also share like if you don't have job, you don't have very little support. So you need
Mm,
to bounce back really, really quickly. Where in France you have a lot more support. So it really, this is where also when you choose the country where you're going, it's to know
mm,
the system, how it works, and do you have a safety net? It's important also to take into it account.
yes.
How does all these learnings influence your decision today?
It's difficult to answer because I don't know which kind of person I would have been if I would have not lived abroad. But maybe I'm more open-minded to have, since I've moved in another country, I'm with other cultures. So maybe I'm more open-minded in my daily life. So my decisions also are more impacted by this, I think.
Yeah. And you're not afraid about going out of your comfort zone.
It depends on what, but no, but yes, no, I'm not afraid, of speaking, giving my opinion, because when I arrived, I was not. I spoke Spanish, but I had to do more effort. So now I'm not afraid of speaking, giving, yeah,
Yeah,
on this
sure.
one.
To wrap up,
Mm,
imagine your best friend is moving really soon to Madrid. What would be your three pieces of advice?
yes. The first would be really learn the language, learn Spanish, because sometimes I see some expat living a long time here and they only speak English. And for me, you will never discover the country, you will never uh, completely if you don't speak Spanish, because here people appreciate that do the effort to speak in Spanish with them. So I think the first advice would be to really learn Spanish and dedicate time to it, because it would be really easier after when you arrive. Also, I would advise to maybe not romanticize like the idea of the country, because sometimes you will hear people say, okay, Spain is really cheap, is really there is no stress. It's like la vida loca, the
Uh,
crazy, the crazy country. No, but I think you have to be realistic because you will have also issues in Spain. You the same that you can have in France. So maybe just be realistic on the country you will be. If it's Madrid or if Spain or if it's another country, you should see like it it's an experience, but you still you can have difficulty as well. So you don't have to see like, oh, the perfect country I will be in. I think it's all the country have pro and cons, and I think yes, be realistic. And the last one would be really to enjoy Spain and to discover, visit all the countryside. There is a lot of culture in Spain. It's really a country where you can live some beautiful travel, I think.
so thank you so much, Marylou, for sharing your story, your journey, and your insight with us. To our listeners, we hope that this conversation was inspiring and valuable to you. Don't forget to register to our live Q&A and follow us on our LinkedIn page. All the links are in the description below. Thank you, Marilou.
Thank you, Anne.
See you in the next episode.